Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon, Pinigigi, and thank you for your support. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Local artist Rosie Simas, Seneca Nation of Indians, Huron Clan, embodies Onondaga philosophies of peacemaking and relationality in new immersive installation. Visit Age Jagwa Desnigowaweni. I hope it'll stir your mind and explore a space built for communal rest and contemplation. Simas presents a performance of the same name this May. Learn more about the exhibition and performance at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Did you know that the Walker has a cinema that shows film almost every week? From artist talks, genre-defined performances, and world premieres to archival shorts and experimental soundscapes, the Walker Cinema explores all modes of global and local filmmaking. Get your first tickets for free. Visit walkerart.org/cinema to learn more. That's walkerart.org/cinema. See you at the movies.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lulia. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 35, then Wednesday, sunshine with a high of 55. Dinosaur World is taking over Children's Theater Company for an immersive tour where you can feel the roar and even smell their stinky breath. Get ready to face a T-Rex and be sneezed on by a Triceratops. Dinosaur World runs now through April 5th. Get your tickets at childrenstheater.org.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hitting cut again.
Because all the hippies are trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings that wounded me.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Ade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, just a quick shout out. Tonight after Native Roots Radio, we're going to have Chase Iron Eyes, and his show is going to be on. He has two great guests. Please stay on in the Twin Cities area at AM 950. It's just an unbelievable show. And people that aren't able to get it from AM 950, jump on their Facebook and or their YouTube and check it out. He's unbelievable. New addition to the Native Roots Radio Network. Speaking of which, we have our friend Arvina Martin on tonight. Arvina is the first Native person ever elected to Madison, Wisconsin's Common Council, and was elected vice president in 2020 by her peers. And she is our political consultant here on Native Roots Radio, and we just love catching up with her. There's always so much going on. Arvina, Big Peeny Gigi, thanks for being on as always.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, a lot going on. I don't know where you want to start, but there is a lot going on. And, where do we start, Arvina?
I don't know anymore. We've got things that are happening in Iran. A surprise or not so surprising attack by the US and Israel into Iran, which not only killed a bunch of school kids, but did manage to also kill the Ayatollah, which, he was a pretty bad dude. He was an evil guy, and I know that in Iran, there were lots of people celebrating, and there are folks that I'm friends with who are Iranian or Persian, and this we see a lot of people saying, well, Iranians didn't want this. And from what my Iranian friends are saying is that there is a sense of hope in the country that they haven't had in a very long time. I mean, the Shah was deposed in, was it 79?
Yeah, when
Yeah,
I was
and that was when I was
6
born. So, that's a long time. And that, that regime change back then changed a very liberal country into a very, very conservative one. And they had been experiencing, protesters being assaulted or killed in recent weeks. Tensions very high, but this strike did manage to take out the Ayatollah, and from my understanding is that there are a lot of Iranians that are nervous but are really hoping and feeling like they can hope for something better. Time will tell if that actually happens. I can't say that I'm super well, let's just say Trump's actions make me skeptical that they are going to get a leader that supports women's rights, and a leader that promote or supports all free speech and everything, because our leader doesn't. If he's pushing for somebody that works with him, I'm skeptical. But I do have tremendous hope that all of this pain that the Iranian people are going through, that they come out of it with a more open and free government, that doesn't suppress and doesn't like actively make things worse for its citizens.
Yeah, absolutely. Geez, Arvina, it's funny you're talking about the Shah of Iran, and that's how we ended up with Reagan. And they did all that backhanded stuff and really told them not to release the hostages until after the election. And it just, I mean, when we talk about craziness in the background, this just didn't just start with the orange one.
Absolutely not. And this, I mean, didn't even just start recently, or if, troubles in Iran, now the entire region is facing instability because Iran has launched strikes on most of, if not all of the countries in the Middle East,
Mm.
in retribution. And that is scary. It is putting a lot more people in danger, obviously, but it's also, threatening the economy. We saw that the Dow went down today. Trump is already talking about, well, oil prices might be high for a little while.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, talking about, oh, this war will last like 4 to 5 weeks, but maybe longer. And he's not telling anybody. He's not telling Congress. He's not telling the American people about why these strikes were launched. He was. I saw the clip on the Daily Show yesterday about him being asked about these strikes and why, and then him just like immediately being distracted by the drapes in his room and started talking about the ballroom and about how he chose out those drapes in the first term. We are not, as Americans, getting answers, and Congress is not being able to do their constitutional duty if they don't have the information for a declaration of war. The whole reasons why he said Trump said something about, well, Israel really made us do it, or then said that oh no, Iran was going to strike us first, and this is from somebody who said last June that the Iranian nuclear capabilities were completely obliterated.
Right. Our peace president said that, didn't he?
I think they probably both did. I mean, probably Pete Hegseth said that too. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the line that after shredding the American and Iranian nuclear accords that Obama had negotiated previously, he tore that apart and is now like, oh my gosh, nuclear war. It's like, well, you did that. So like, I feel like this whole thing seems like such a giant self-own on him,
Definitely. And our friend Jason said gas went up 40 cents a gallon overnight in Duluth. I believe it. It's just unbelievable. And you mentioned the stock market, and that's the one thing that they like to pretend that everybody's involved in, and it's going great. And there you have it. It's just an amazing thing. We have so much to talk about. And maybe when we jump back in the next segment, Arvina, we can talk about something a little positive happening in Madison. And one of your friends has a art thing that I'd love to really talk about.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and you are listening to Arvina Martin, our political consultant out of Madison, Wisconsin, and I'm Robert Pilot, Native Roots Radio, out of the Twin Cities, but all over Turtle Island. We'll be right back after this short break. Please stay with us. Ho! Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Local artist Rosie Simas, Seneca Nation of Indians, Huron Clan, embodies Onondaga philosophies of peacemaking and relationality in new immersive installation. Visit Age Jagwa Desnigowaweni. I hope it'll stir your mind and explore a space built for communal rest and contemplation. Simas presents a performance of the same name this May. Learn more about the exhibition and performance at walkerart.org. Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
We are your relatives.
We are your relations.
Brothers,
sisters,
sons,
daughters. And some of us are your grandchildren.
We are your community. Historically, we held places of honor and respect. Because of the impact of colonization, some of us are rejected, thrown out from family, friends, and community, set up as targets for sexual violence, sex trafficked, humiliated, tortured, and murdered. Everybody has the right to be safe. We are your relatives. Remember,
homophobia is not traditional.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert Pilot, and we are with our friend Arvina Martin. Later on, Wendy Pilot will come on in and talk about our sacred, give us an update on our sacred animals, and those are our relatives, and we always have fun hearing and talking about that with Wendy. So, Arvina, let's switch gears a little bit here and talk about some positive things that Native Americans are doing across Turtle Island.
Yes, I wanted to highlight one of my friends from college, a tremendous artist. Side note, I feel like I can't use tremendous as a word anymore because the orange one uses it all the time. It makes me mad. But Anna Sularakis, she is Navajo, Creek, and Greek, and was a senior when I was a freshman. And she is an extremely talented artist, currently based in Denver, Colorado. She is also a professor there, teaching art, and she does a lot of like very modern style works. She does videos, she does installation, she does sculpture and performances. And I was really excited to find out that she is going to be showing at this year's Whitney Biennial in New York City. This was really exciting to me because it was a few years ago that I happened to be in New York City when I found out that the Whitney Biennial was showing or was starting while I was going to be there, but also that Deani Whitehawk was going to be showing while I was there. So I was really excited about that, and I've been following a lot about the Whitney since. And also I'm really proud of my friend. She is insanely talented, and she has received like so many fellowships. She's done so many exhibitions in places including the Idle Jorg Museum in Indianapolis. I'm gonna put in the chat for Robert to share with you all the website to her and her dad's work. She started getting involved in art because her father made a lot of jewelry, traditional Navajo style jewelry. And she got her undergrad from Dartmouth and went to Yale. She really wants to expand the scope of Native art, Native contemporary art, and what that looks like, and that it's not just traditional crafts, that it's not just paintings of people from times gone by. And again, she does a lot in so many different mediums, or media, I should say, as that's the plural. And I think that if you happen to be in uh New York City, it's the show actually starts in 5 days on March 8th, and will be open for several months. So if you get to go to New York City, you should check that out. Otherwise, check out Anna's art. She's remarkable, and I'm really proud to know her.
Well, Arvina, again, this is a radio show too.
Yeah.
Why don't you give out the website for everybody that's driving in their car? Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Their website, it's her and her father, and their website is www.naveeks, NAV as in Victor, EEKS.com.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Now let's go talk a little bit more about the doom and gloom here. No, it was very interesting. We haven't talked since they had Hillary and Bill in subpoenaed, and really did a unbelievable crappy job with this. No photos and all those things. It's just your take on it, Arvina.
I just want to shout out Senator Hillary Clinton on the videos that have been released post deposition show someone who is extremely I mean, she's flabbergasted by everything. Why she's even there to be questioned as someone who had never met Jeffrey Epstein, never been on his island, never been in his plane. And, this is the woman that went through marathon hearings regarding the Benghazi situation. Yeah. So, I mean, this is not someone that you are going to get to crack. And she absolutely showed that attorney background, particularly with Lauren Boebert taking a picture within the first hour of the deposition and sending it to a podcaster blogger guy, and him posting it. And that was against the rules, and so she was like, I'm done. I'm not talking. And she took a break and proceeded to answer Boebert's absurd questions about Pizzagate. I don't know what they expected to get out of a deposition from Secretary Clinton, but they didn't get anything useful. This was just a giant waste of time, and even former President Bill Clinton did not have much to say because he did not interact with him much. It sounded like he interacted with him with regards to working on philanthropic things, so he also did not give anybody any, get out of jail free cards. He did not give anybody, any smoking guns. It just all seemed like a massive waste of time, when there are people within the administration that they could be asking, not the least being the president himself.
Right, and his wife is in so many different emails and pictures. Yeah, it's just a clown show.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting too that once the dust settled here, we were talking about let's bring Trump on here, and next thing you know, we're bombing Iran.
I mean, when something big happens, it's usually because something Epstein related was about to drop, or, something like that. And so that pattern of his, combined with the lack of explanations given to anybody, most importantly the American people, about why this is happening right now, just makes it seem like this is another distraction, and he is putting thousands, if not millions, of lives in danger, putting American military in danger, and for a mission that is absolutely not clear. So nobody knows what victory is going to look like. Nobody knows how long they should expect. None of the service members know how long to expect to be there, and they're being called up as we speak.
Well, and again, South Park started a website to enlist draft Barron, so I'm all about that. His Trump's son. One of the weird things for me, Arvina, and I don't know if you've had this situation. I'm scanning things on my phone, and somewhat, I don't know what's real and what's fake with AI now. It's been very, very unsettling, I guess is the word I want to use.
It is. And I think that, we are all, like, as a society, going to have to be looking at things that we see online, particularly on social media. And we are going to have to look at it with a much closer lens. We're going to have to become a lot more savvy of the media that we consume. And we've kind of been lazy for a while because of social media. It's just been delivered. The news has just been delivered to us so easily. We just have to scroll. And now, we are going to have to go back and check our sources and make sure those sources are legitimate. We are going to have to look for things. Right now, it can be easier because if you see, a picture of a person and they've got like a roller skate on with 3 wheels and they've got 7 fingers on one hand and like that there are all these glitches that we can see, but it's getting more and more refined as time goes on, and we are going to absolutely have to be checking to make sure that things that we share as true and as newsworthy is actually news.
Yeah, we do have to talk about that because talk about that a lot because, some countries teach their young ones critical thinking and one of the countries, I can't think of it off the top of my head, is having their kids learn what's real and what's not real on social media. And I think that's one of the things, the 27% that still support Trump have issue with.
Yeah, absolutely. And may I say that support is dropping. There's a lot of those people that voted for Trump somehow as the peace candidate. Like, I'm not like that blows my mind, again, with the critical thinking and the critical reasoning skills there. But now they're mad because he promised no new wars, and here he is intentional strikes on a country that is forcing a regime change and involving us in another war that that somebody is going to have to clean up after. It's wild to see people actually finally seeing the light, and people on social media again are posting things like, well, I'm not MAGA, but I voted for him, or I'm leaving MAGA now. And
well, I guess they can come back to their senses. There is part of that. We had Brandy Carlisle sing a song with the protesters at the concert here about you can change your mind, and I guess I'm going to go with that because if I'm not, I'd be an old angry man. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. I'm with Arvina Martin, and we're going to be right back after this short break. Please stay with us. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds from the Cheyenne and Arapaho nations, and Jim Demeny from the Ojibwe Nation. Additionally, film screens, cinema, and performances are shown on stage. And the Walker is free every Thursday night and free every day for citizens and members of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Did you know that the Walker has a cinema that shows film almost every week? From artist talks, genre-defined performances, and world premieres to archival shorts and experimental soundscapes, the Walker Cinema explores all modes of global and local filmmaking. Get your first tickets for free. Visit walkerart.org/cinema to learn more. That's walkerart.org/cinema. See you at the movies.
This is Chase Iron Eyes announcing a new show on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, powered by Native Roots Radio. The show is called Native American Patriot Talk Radio. What will we do on the show? We are going to explore and dive into the source of American constitutional sovereignty, the intersection of Native American and legal issues. Find us the first and third Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. on AM 950.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Local artist Rosie Simas, Seneca Nation of Indians, Huron Clan, embodies Onondaga philosophies of peacemaking and relationality in new immersive installation. Visit Agay Jagwa Destiny Gowalweni. I hope it'll stir your mind and explore a space built for communal rest and contemplation. Simas presents a performance of the same name this May. Learn more about the exhibition and performance at walkerart.org.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 35, then Wednesday, sunshine with a high of 55. Get your exquisite, elegant box of French macarons from Nicolette's Macarons in Plymouth. Nicolette's is conveniently located off Highway 169 and 36th Avenue. Stop in at the store or order your box online at nicolettesmacarons.com. You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. And just a reminder, everyone in the Twin Cities and anyone that's on the computer or able to listen to Native Roots Radio online, we also have a show coming up next, Chase Iron Eyes Native Patriot Talk Radio. And please stay tuned. That show is just awesome. And really a big shout out to Chase Iron Eyes for putting this together and supporting talk radio and all over Turtle Island. Hey, Arvina, welcome back. We are with Arvina, our political consultant. There's a couple of things I'd want to talk to you about in this segment. And then the next segment, we're going to have Wendy come on and talk about our sacred animals. But do we have a ho-chunk word of the day that you can think of off the top of your head? I know I kind of just surprised you on that. It could be anything.
A word that I had thought of, or a word that I had known and completely could not remember when I was trying to use it, is gigue, which is again. I had to look it up again, so I had to look it up gigue to remember it.
You had to look up again. Wait, gigue, yes.
I had to look up the word again to find out that it is gigue.
You know, one of my favorite ho-chunk words is my uncle and my aunties use it too all the time. Is I can't think of the top of it. Maybe you can help me out with it, but it's like Goodwill. It's like a thrift store.
Tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I can't think of it, and use it all the time, and it's a really fun word. Well, maybe we'll get back to it.
I'm going to look it up on the handy Ho-Chunk dictionary app because
right.
I know it. I know. I think we used to use it for garage sale.
Oh, well, we use it for Goodwill here in the Twin Cities because I think that's our second home sometimes.
Oh no, it's not in.
Oh, that's cool. Well, why don't we jump into let's talk about what, again, love talking about your work and how available you are around the community, around the country, and in Wisconsin, and what you do. You're our political consultant here on Native Roots Radio, but you're much, much more out there in the community.
Yeah, I have my Tribes 101 presentation, which helps people understand, or at least gives an introduction to understanding the concept of tribal sovereignty, why it is important, particularly for elected officials and candidates and political entities to work with tribes as peer level governments, electeds at every level of government, local to federal, and and also talking about engaging in Indian country. So engaging with tribal governments as like an entity, but also engaging with Native people where they are in their communities, whether that is in on a reservation, whether that's on a college campus, or another urban community. I also have a bunch of trainings around things like public speaking and things related to campaigns. So if you have people that you want to train to run for office, I can help you learn how to do that. Also help with anything from campaign finances and making sure you're hitting your deadlines for your donations and fundraising, to how to knock doors, to how to give a stump speech, and how to surround yourself with a team of people that is going to not only be supportive of you, but also that's also going to be able to put in the work to help you when you're elected office. And if you want to get a hold of me, you can find me on LinkedIn, Arvina Martin, and just shoot me a message if you have a question about trainings that I can do, or if there's any advice about political campaigns that you're looking for, please shoot me a message and I'd be happy to get back to you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Arvina Martin, check it out. I've seen you in action, and of course, you're on here once a week. And people that listen to the show or watch the show on the social media out there do know your background and how great you are. So we're lucky to have you here on Native Roots Radio. But again, if you want to hire Arvina to really straighten things out native wise in your organization, or you just need help campaigning, she's there for hire. She's a hired gun. So that's awesome to hear and awesome to talk about.
Yeah.
Arvina, one of the things that I'm worried about, and we can maybe talk this through, there's a couple things. One of them is, what is this orange one going to do prior to the elections here coming up?
I mean, I think he's seeing the writing on the wall, or rather his team is seeing the writing on the wall and is seeing how unpopular he really is, and how he, with every move, seems to be becoming more unpopular, and starting an unnecessary war, and also that unnecessary war leading to more economic costs to Americans everywhere, across the board, is also, that's not going to make him more popular either. I have read things about him, wanting to do an executive order saying that China has interfered with the 2020 election. Therefore, this is a national emergency and all of the elections will be under federal government contrul. Again, from the party of small government and keeping it close to the people. I hope that doesn't happen, but I won't be surprised if it does. We would hope that the Supreme Court again would see the grossness of this and rule against him, but we can never tell these days. And it looks like he is working on this because he doesn't have the votes for the SAVE Act to pass. The SAVE Act, which would require proving your citizenship and making sure that your birth certificate name and your name on your identification are the same. So if you've changed your name in any way, whether you are a trans person who has changed their name, or a person who has gotten married and changed their last name, or anything, you wouldn't then be able to vote. So luckily, members of Congress have seen that is not a good thing to do, and it's not passing, but that kind of raises the stakes. And when the stakes get raised, he's willing to go for it. So like I have no idea if this is something that is going to happen, but I would not be surprised if he tried to take over somehow.
Well, one of the things that's really interesting for me is that it took the Supreme Court so long to go against his tariffs, and that seems to be what's happening here. Like Congress is not getting together about the war until Thursday. It's like I don't feel the immediacy, if that's a word.
Absolutely, because there is no immediacy for him to talk about any of this, but he is always happy to drop a remark about his ballroom, into anything. And it's, that's the only thing that he wants to talk about is how he likes gold, and he'll put it wherever he wants. Um, but
Yeah.
the things that matter to the American people are getting completely pushed under the rug, and he has no interest in answering anything about it.
Yeah, exactly. And so I hope, and I know here in the Twin Cities, with there are a lot of organizations like Make Voting a Tradition and all these organizations that help out natives, bringing people to the ballot. We just need to be on top of that, and make sure that it's such a blue tsunami. I mean, right now I'm wondering if he even really won 2024. And the first person he thanked was Elon Musk when he won. So it just am like, it's upside down world.
It really is. I'm just glad that Wisconsin proved that you can throw a ton of money and it doesn't always matter.
That's right.
We beat the biggest billionaire, or the richest guy in the world. But when elections are fair, those shenanigans don't always work, and what it takes is us showing up at the polls, and it takes
Mhm.
us going out and talking to our friends and relatives about issues that are important to us, and maybe why a particular candidate is the person that you are supporting. Doing the research and looking at what a candidate has to say, maybe going to one of their events if they come anywhere near to where you live, meet and greet, whether or a rally or debates. There's, especially for a lot of the smaller races, those events happen all over the place and they are quite accessible. And
Mhm.
so go ask folks questions about where they stand on the issues that matter to you, and then let people know what they said, positive or negative. And just keep people thinking about this, because there are primaries tonight in Texas, South Carolina, and Arkansas. I think we're going to see a little bit of a like what is coming, and it's a kind of a way to test the temperature of the American people now. um and and keep talking about all of these issues, and keep pressing your elected officials into making sure that they hear what is important to you, what you want them to do about it, and hold them accountable. And if holding them accountable means voting them out this fall, then do that. And stay engaged. We don't need to, we shouldn't just be engaged for the month of October and November. We can be engaged right now. The conversations are happening, and the longer you see candidates and folks in action, you're able to see more about them, whether it is about their stances, if their stances evolve. Because remember, changing your idea on something isn't always a bad thing.
Exactly. Hey, thanks, Arvina Martin. Get a hold of Arvina Martin on LinkedIn. Also, my uncle Dallas sent me Wahura. Wahura.
Waruhaha. That's it.
Yes.
Waruhaha.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks again, Arvina. Hey, up next, Wendy with our Sacred Animal updates. This is Native Roots Radio, and again, we'll be right back after this short break. Thanks, Arvina.
See you.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Local artist Rosie Simas, Seneca Nation of Indians, Huron Clan, embodies Onondaga philosophies of peacemaking and relationality in new immersive installation. Visit Agay Jagwa Desni Gowaweni. I hope it'll stir your mind and explore a space built for communal rest and contemplation. Seamus presents a performance of the same name this May. Learn more about the exhibition and performance at walkerart.org. Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors.
This is Chase Iron Eyes announcing a new show on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, powered by Native Roots Radio. The show is called Native American Patriot Talk Radio. What will we do on the show? We are going to explore and dive into the source of American constitutional sovereignty, the intersection of Native American and legal issues. Find us the first and third Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. on AM 950.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hi, it's Dr. Evan Adams, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio. Hey, Victor, you better be listening.
In this portion of the show, we'd like to bring awareness to our wolf and bear populations throughout Turtle Island. Say no to the hunts.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert Pilot, and this is Native Roots Radio. Hey, I want to introduce my awesome and beautiful wife, Wendy. Wendy's been an animal advocate for many, many, many years, probably her whole life, and she's like a co-founder of Native Roots Radio. We've been on almost 10 years. We're in our 10th year, and so I learned so much from Wendy's segment. Welcome, as always, Wendy.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. My name is Hanaji Hihani. That means cares for them. And I was given that name by my Daga Curtis. Curtis goes by Mashke Hanajinga. I am a policy volunteer for Humane World for Animals, and I work on animal issues at the local and state level. It's always my pleasure to do that. So today I wanted to talk about why we should be worrying or caring about animals right now while the world is burning up.
Oh, God.
So like literally, like people are like, what are you worrying about animals for? You know, we have all this other stuff going on. And
World War III.
Yeah, exactly. And it really weighs heavy on my mind. But I feel like there's like a fundamental kind of compassion that, if you care for animals, you'll care for people. So I really feel like it's really important. So, and often how a society treats animals often mirrors how it treats vulnerable people also, and compassion isn't a limited resource. Caring about animals can strengthen empathy overall. So we really just need to keep caring about things that you're caring about. Don't put your passions and your things that you care about on the back burner right now, because we really need to keep doing that as well.
Yes.
Even though the world is burning,
Good call.
And, I just looked up a few things, and I wanted to get other perspectives and what people are saying about it. And, some people are like, animals are part of the system that keep us alive. So some people like wildlife and ecosystems affect clean water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pollination, forests, soil, and climate stability. So protecting animals isn't just sentimental. It helps protect the natural systems that humans rely on. And I really wanted to take a look and really talk about our wolf population. I just feel like they're so vulnerable right now. And, Humane Lobby Day is, I believe, March 17th. I'm sorry. I will be at the Minnesota State Capitol lobbying my representatives for a couple of bills that we're working on right now that we want to pass, right? So even though there's, a crap show in the world right now, I will be at the Minnesota State Capitol talking about why it's important to take care of, and wolves is one of them, right? We do not want an indiscriminate wolf trophy hunt here in Minnesota. We really want to care about them, and it's important to care about our wolves. Wolves are considered a keystone species, meaning their presence has a disproportionately large effect on the ecosystem. In northern forests like Minnesota's, wolves regulate deer populations, right? So the deer aren't over eating all the land and stomping on everything. So they're keeping the deer population in balance. And what happens when wolves are present? I really want to talk about that. I think that's so important. When wolves keep deer numbers balanced, young trees survive, especially aspen, birch, and cedar. Forest regeneration improves, songbird habitat increases, beavers return because willow and aspen grow along the streams, wetlands improve, which help fish, amphibians, and waterfowl. And what happens when wolves disappear? We saw this, and I talked about this story in Yellowstone, and I'll talk about that again. But when happens when wolves disappear, without predators, the deer population explodes. We already talked about that. They browse young trees and shrubs. So they eat everything in sight, and then there's nothing. Forest diversity drops. Fewer birds, insects, and small mammals survive. So biologists sometimes call this the trophic cascade, and I've talked about this on the show before.
Yeah.
When one species at the top affects the entire ecosystem below it. And here is an example. Yellowstone National Park is a famous example of this. After the wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone in 1995, vegetation rebounded. Beaver colonies increased. Songbirds returned. Riverbanks stabilized because of the roots of the trees, and the trees were able to grow. It showed how one predator can reshape an entire landscape. And if you ever want to listen to someone with a really good voice, much better than mine, there's this British guy, and you can go on YouTube and find it. It's called How Wolves Change Rivers. How wolves change rivers. And he's talking about this whole thing in this beautiful British accent. And you could really hear it. It's beautiful, really. I mean, the deer were out and about and just ate all the vegetation, and there was nothing there. And it only took a few years. So I think, and there was a very small amount of wolves. I think it was either 6 or 9 wolves that they reintroduced to Yellowstone. In a matter of no time, the whole place, it became like a Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Robert.
No, I said I was agreeing with you. I remember that story.
Yeah. In a place like Minnesota, which still has one of the healthiest wolf populations in the lower 48 states, many ecologists see wolves as a sign of a functioning northern forest ecosystem. So it's really important for us to keep them. A lot of people up north, though,
right?
I don't get it. There's so many, ranchers worry about the wolves coming and eating their cattle and their lambs and their sheeps and their, whatever. But there's so many other ways to deter the wolves and not have to kill them. And
definitely.
Once you kill a pack of wolves, once you kill like the alpha male or alpha female, that's it. It breaks up the wolf pack, and they go their separate ways, and that's when they get in trouble. That's when they're hunting. They're not hunting an elk. They're not hunting a deer. They're going after a smaller calf, right, or a baby lamb, or and then the ranchers come out and say, "See, this wolf killed my calf," and it's really something. But the ranchers do have a lot of clout. They're lobbyists, so they have a lot of money, and they have a lot of pull when it comes to this. So I really want us to be able to take care of our wolf population. If you care about wolves and you live in Minnesota or you live elsewhere, and you have a wolf population, give your legislators a call and just say, listen, you don't have to be an expert and know anything really about it, and just say, I really don't want any bills that are passed in the legislature that will kill our wolves. So I think that's important. I'm a constituent, and that's what I want you to do. And if they get enough phone calls, they'll do what you say.
Perfect. And I just want to say this with only 30 seconds left, Wendy. You people, excuse me, that listen to us in Wisconsin do the same thing, because right now I believe there is a wolf hunt. And so, we'll have to look into that deeper, but preserve our relatives. They're our relatives. That's right. Thank you again, Wendy, for stopping in and
absolutely
and speaking your truth and letting us know about wolves. I love the refresher course.
Yeah, care about things that you care about, even though the world's burning around us.
Yeah, that would be a great show.
It's good for your mental health.
Yeah, it really is. Thanks again. Hey, I see everyone tomorrow. Thanks, Arvina Martin, and this has been Native Roots Radio.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio.